All right, so we are going to cover a couple different things today. Cancellation rate is the first thing that we're going to cover. Then we're going to cover demo rate, and we're going to cover lead setting. Hold on one second. I'm having some issue with the. All right, here we go. We're all good. All right, so all you see is a blank page. The reason why you see a blank page is because we're going to completely when we go through this today, we're going to completely pretend like we're starting the job over right now. We have all this information, great, fantastic. We're naturally good at the job, whatever. You have experience at the job, but we're starting over in a couple different ways. The uh, uh, the customer experience is what's most important when it comes to most of our job. I mean, when it comes to setting leads, it is too. But yeah, we all know that we can figure out creative ways to set leads and have them not go through, right? Our job transcends that. Our job is to set up good appointments and customer experiences that allow us to be able to get demos. Okay, and it's a lot harder to get a demo than it is to get a lead. To get demos from the customer. Okay. So we're going to go through that today. We're going to start off with cancellation rate. Let me get this prepared here. Cancellation rate is going to be the first thing that we go over. Now, what is a good cancellation rate? That's the first question that I think that you should ask yourself, because a lot of people, I mean, it is based on the amount of leads that you set. That being said, your cancellation rate does not need to be based on that, but how we judge it is. What I mean by that is that if somebody's going out there and they're getting 10 leads a month and they have a 100% cancellation rate, well, then I mean they're producing nothing. There's no gain to them. There's no gain to the company. I get it. Their effort, that's fantastic. I feel good for them about their effort, but that's it. That's not something to build a company off of. You know what I'm saying? Um, so you have to understand that your cancellation rate matters if you're at a high amount of leads, but it matters more to you than anything. What I mean by that is that if I'm at 50 leads and I have a 75% cancellation rate, I'm going to produce enough demos to cover my personal quota from a company perspective. But man, I'm losing a lot of money that I already gained. Like I already set those leads, I'm losing a lot of money that I don't want to lose. So there's just a couple elements here, right? When it comes to an acceptable cancellation rate, what is it? To me, for myself, I'm never going to accept a cancellation rate above 30 to 40%. Okay. 30 to 40% is going to be my acceptable number. Okay. So that's my personal goal for cancellation rate. That being said, I'll oftentimes hit over a 40%, might be 45%, might be 50% with a lot of leads, but I'm not going to stop working on this and trying to get better with it. I'm not going to consider myself perfect with cancellation rate until I'm at a 30 to 40% cancellation rate. Okay. So I'm going to constantly consider myself needing work until I get to that point. That being said, if you're setting 20 appointments a month, then your cancellation rate, technically, you should, if you're at, let's say, between 20 and 30 appointments per month, your maximum cancellation rate should be at 30%. A 40%, I guess, is acceptable from a company perspective. Okay. But that's not where you want to be at. Okay. If you are between 30 and 40 appointments per month, then the maximum accepted cancellation rate, I would say, is about a 50%. Okay. And again, not where you want to be at. I'm just saying accepted, like what I would accept if I was you. Maximum is around a 50%. And if you're at 40 plus leads for the month, then I'd say nobody should be above like a 55%. Okay. All right. And the reason is simply because your issue legal and your demos for you, is what's important. That's what's making you your money. You know what I'm saying? So I would never accept more than this. All right. If you're at a higher cancellation rate than that, then it's a problem even for your personal funds in what you're accomplishing there. Okay. So what are the biggest drivers of cancellation? Okay. The first driver of cancellation is contact. Okay. Let me title this real quick.
The side table.
Okay. Contact is the first driver of cancellation. Okay. What does that mean? It means we call to confirm appointments. Okay. Confirmation process is pretty, it's not strict, per se. Like, it's not like they kick off a bunch of leads or whatever, but they got to talk to the customer at the very least, a lot of times. So contact is the number one reason for cancellation, the number one driver of cancellation. So how do we prevent that? Okay. Well, there's kind of 2 points to prevention there. Okay. A, setting within a 48-hour window will prevent the need for second contact for confirmation. All right. So that's the first thing. B, getting more than one phone number. And C, leaving with a great impression. Next time I'm typing this up beforehand. Leaving with a great impression. Okay. So those are the 3 drivers of contact that you should be focused on to eliminate cancellation. Okay. So what setting within a 48-hour window allows the call center to not have to confirm the appointment. You get it confirmed on the spot most of the time, unless there's some sort of mitigating circumstance there. Let's say the person says, I don't know, I got to talk to my husband or something like that. Most of the time, that's going to be confirmed within a 48-hour window. Okay. So your best bet is to set a lead within that 48-hour window. That way you do not have to deal with the need for contact again. Okay. So that's the first thing. Now, how do we drive that? The first thing is you should, and this is a big deal for our department, because I bet you that conservatively 30% of people, maybe 40%, are saying too much on the confirmation or on the the confirmation process. So saying too much on date and time. Okay. Now what do I mean by that? I think that I know that we have some people that are saying to the customer, what time of day works best for you? Or we could see as early as tomorrow, Sunday or Monday, what's a better day for you? Okay, stuff like that. Okay, or inviting the customer, coming off a rebuttal and saying, hey, what day works best? Inviting a customer to cancel. We come out 7 days a week, morning, afternoon, and evening. What's best for you? We definitely have people that are doing that. How do I know that? Because some people it's more nefarious. They know what they're doing wrong. Other people, they're telling the call center, hey, they can't do this until next Thursday, right? And I'm getting a good read on we have probably 20% of staff that does that at least some of the time. Okay. So you should never talk date and time. Never talk date and time when you're setting within a 40-hour window. Never. Okay. Never talk date and time. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay. Well, if a customer brings it up, even, let's just roll our way through this. And then if you guys have any questions or other scenarios they have questions about, let me know. Okay. So when I approach getting that customer on the phone, okay, what I should be saying is there's 2 kind of ways that I can say this. I can say, listen, Mr. Jones, before I get the office on the phone, we do have a couple forming out in your neighborhood over the next couple days. Today, tomorrow, outside chance like Monday, while I'm on the phone, just start thinking about your schedule. And then I dead it there. I'm not asking them. I'm just getting on the phone. I'm probably saying that as the phone's ringing. Okay. The second way, if you want to drive next days, is to say, Mr. Jones, I'm going to get the office on the phone here in a second. That being said, we do have appointments as early as tomorrow. What time of day would work best for you tomorrow, morning, afternoon, or evening? If they say none, tomorrow doesn't work, whatever, then immediately go, okay, I'll just get the office on the phone. It will just take a second. Don't go to the next day. Don't try to sell set. Okay. If you know same days are available, it's acceptable to also say, hey, we could have somebody come out as early as tonight at 6 o'clock or tomorrow. What time would work best for you? But if they say, no, that's not going to work, or I don't know, okay, I'll get the office on the phone. We'll figure it out for you. Okay. Immediately. Don't talk date and time with them any more than that. Okay. Pivot directly to the call center. Don't let the office know, hey, they can't do this tomorrow. Okay. Don't let the office know, hey, they can't do this tomorrow. Immediately go directly to getting the office on the phone, and just let them set up the date and time. This is our room is still a hallway here, so there's gonna be occasions when people decide to walk through and it's, let's put it this way, I'm gonna walk through their office a lot differently lately. Over the next couple days, a lot more loudly. So, just kidding. But that's the thing. You never want to talk date and time, even if a customer brings it up. Okay, a customer could say to you, "Listen, I have surgery in 3 hours. I'm not going to be back until 7 days from now. I can do an appointment on the eighth day. Just don't even mention it to the office." Okay, maybe that's very specific. Maybe in that case you will, but most of the time you wouldn't mention it to the office. Why? Because the call center's job, the office's job, the ISC, whatever you call it, their job is to drive the soonest available date. You eliminate their ability to do that as soon as you bring up a date and time. So you call me, I'm at the office. Okay. I answer the phone. You say, "Hey, listen, John Smith said he can't do this until Monday." Okay. The way I should react as a call center representative is I should still go for tomorrow. I should still say, "Mr. Jones, I know that, John Smith said that Monday is the only day that works, but we do have an appointment for tomorrow at 10 o'clock. How would that work for you?" They say no. I say, "Okay, well, we can do 2 o'clock tomorrow as well." They say no. I should say, "We can do 6 o'clock tomorrow as well." Right? I don't care. Even if that customer gets angry and cancels it and it blows up in your face, that's my job as a call center representative to do that. Now, a lot of them don't want to screw up our leads. So what ends up happening is they just go for that date and time. But their job should be to drive the next available date. That should be their job. Now, think from a customer perspective. Okay. If you're standing there with me as a customer and you say to me, "Hey, what time works best?" And I say, "Hey, I can't do this until next Wednesday." And you say, "Okay, I'll get the office on the phone." And then you tell the office, "Hey, they can't do this until next Wednesday." And then the office says to me, "Hey, can you do tomorrow?" That's going to piss me off. My response is going to be, "This guy just told you I can't do until next Wednesday. What is your problem?" You know what I'm saying? That being said, if I say to you, okay, if I say to you, "Hey, I can't do this till next Thursday," and you say, "Okay, no problem. I'm sure we can accommodate you. Just let the office know." And then I don't hear you say date and time to the office at all, then how can I get mad? You just gave me clear instruction to let the office know. It's my job to let the office know. You gave me a task. My job is simply to complete that task. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Okay. All right. What scenarios can you think of where that would be different change or that you would have a question about?
We ran into one the other day. Um, the only reason I ended up telling the office like, "Hey, not this day," is because they had a funeral that day.
Yeah, it's fine to say not this day, right? So that's different. That's the thing is if the person said to you, "Hey, listen, I have a doctor's appointment on Monday. I can't do Monday." Then that's more acceptable because you're still not confining the office. You're just telling them about that one thing. Does that make sense? And obviously, a funeral is a pretty good reason to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the difference is you're not constricting them at that point. So, hey, Lisa, how you doing? Okay, sounds great. One second. I'll figure out who's supposed to be here for him. Thank you very much. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm on a YouTube video right now, so it's fine. I'll figure it out. Thank you very much. All right, guys, give me 2 minutes here. Thank you. I'm not gonna get aggressive about what just happened there. So I just had to put it in grouping, but I'm not gonna get angry right now. But I do know that there's cookie bars at least in case I want cookie bars, and that's fantastic. But no, I didn't lose. You didn't lose service. It was somebody had stopped in the office because they needed something. There's an interview here, but that's not what I'm here for today. So we're gonna continue going through this stuff. Does anybody have any questions or other scenarios when it comes to the cancellation on that 48-hour window, setting within the 48-hour window? Anybody have any other questions for you? Okay, so if you were to watch this again, the driving point that I want to make there is you should not be talking date and time at all. Okay, at all. This is a big point. Not be talking date and time at all. Now there is scenarios. For example, the customer gives me an objection. I come off for rebuttal and I ask the question, what time of day works best for you? That's a legitimate scenario. That's absolutely perfectly fine. Okay. That being said, the way I deal with that, if the customer says, well, mornings, then I just say, okay, I'll make a note of that. That's it. It doesn't need to impact the way that I schedule the appointment, right? Mornings work best for them. I need you guys to think about this for a second, okay? Most customers, what's going to work best for them is evenings, most customers, okay? But obviously we have to fill up a bunch of different appointment times and dates, not just evenings, right? So my point is that if we just went for evenings, then it'd be pretty bad. It'd be pretty bad. So my recommendation there is just what we kind of need to do there is even if the customer was to say morning or evening, right? We just shelf that. We allow the call center to deal with it still. Why? Because oftentimes what you're going to find is it's not about the best time that works for them. It's about a good time for them. Okay. So that's setting within a 48-hour window. Getting more than one phone number. Okay. If you look at cancellation rate, non-confirmed appointments. Wow, non-confirmed appointments. The number one reason for those is that they have one phone number on them. Okay. Now I get it. Sometimes it's difficult to get more than one phone number. I get that 100%. So that's sorry, I got multiple things going on over here. So I get that sometimes the customer is difficult to get a phone in it, but some people aren't asking. Some people have a difficult time because of the way that we asking for the phone number. And I get why it can be uncomfortable. It can technically be uncomfortable. I mean, it shouldn't be, okay, but it can be. So how do we do that? How do we go about that? What are people doing now? Some people are asking for a secondary number. Some people are forgetting to ask and asking later on when it's not as important. Some people are saying, do you have another phone number? Some people are saying, we could take a phone number or email. What's better for you for a second contact? Okay. None of that's the way that you want to do it. Okay. This is the way that you want to do it. First, you just ask for a phone number. Don't say the best number, just a phone number. Okay. If I ask you for the best number, if I say, hey, what's the best number to reach you at? Right. Automatically, when I say, okay, what's another number to reach you at? A line that you're going to hear a lot from customers is, well, that's the best one. It's fine. You can get me on that one. That's the best one. Okay. You just gave them the idea. That's the best number. That's it. Okay. When you say, what's your phone number? Just straight up, what's your phone number? The number that they know most is what's going to come to their mind. Okay. So if for example, their cell phone number, which is probably what it is what pops in their mind, that's what they're going to say. So you're going to get the best number anyways. Okay. Now you don't want to follow up with, well, what's a secondary number? Okay. You want to follow up with, okay, in order to set this appointment, we do need a second form of contact. I can take a spouse's number or a house phone number. What's better for you? Okay. We need a second form of contact. I can take a spouse's number or a work phone number. What's better for you? Okay. What you're trying to do is get an honest answer from the customer. I almost just freaked out. It doesn't matter. It's all good. He's there early. I just didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, okay, nobody's here. It's all good. Yeah. Well, Lisa came up and I'm on YouTube right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. She's talking to me about cookie bars and stuff like that. I'm like, this is gonna stop. All right. Yeah, it's all good. You're on time. So then and then if can't get a second form of contact, then go for the email address. Okay. So it would sound like this. Okay. Putting it all together would sound like this. Okay, Mr. Jones, I have your last name is Jones. What's your first? All right, great. I have your address as 123 Main Street. What's your phone number? Okay, great. And we do need a second form of contact from you, that whether that be a spouse's number or home phone number. What's another contact for you? And then you write that down. Okay. Another way to do it, by the way, too, would be, okay, what's I have your last name is Jones. What's your first? All right, I have your address as 123 Main Street. What's your phone number? Okay. All right, and in order to schedule this appointment, I do need a second phone number. That could be a work number or a spouse's number. Or you could say that could be a cell phone number or a spouse's number. Okay. What would be best for you? All right. And then, or what would that be? And then if they say no, none, it's just my number, then that's when I would go, okay, I can also take an email address. Okay. What's a good email to find? You know, the reason why you're asking that way is because you just said to him, in order to schedule this appointment, we need a second phone number. Okay. But then the way that you can digress is by going after the email. So the way that you can come back from that is by going after the email. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions on that?
I think what I learned is that if you don't get the second phone number and you're able to get the first phone number in the email, when you get to that part of like you're asking who else would be there and they say like a wife or something, I just sometimes throw it in there like, okay, what's a number for her?
Yes, good point. That's what I'm going to get to next. Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, that's what I would. That's 100% what I would. That's your kind of second life. There is that when you go to ask for the spouse or a second party, no matter who that party is, it gives you a legitimate reason to ask for their contact information, right? So let's say that that's I don't know, their foster brother Jim. Okay, it gives you a good reason to get that information. So that's when you want to ask what was just said, which is, okay, what's their phone number? So again, you're saying, to do this for you, all we need is two things. First, we need you to set aside at least 90 minutes, whether we need it or not. Fair enough. Okay, great. And second, when we visit to discuss the project, we need to meet with all the owners of the property. That could be you, a spouse, or family member, or significant other. So who would that be? Okay, great. What's their name? Okay, fantastic. And I do need a contact number for them as well. What would their phone number be? Okay. So the reason why you do it that way is because you don't sound like you're scamming on the wife. You know what I'm saying? It's weird to just go, okay, what's your wife's number? Okay. But when you ask for the second party, you don't know what they're going to say. You know, it could be their father, it could be their Uncle Jim, right? Or it could be their wife. And then you're saying, okay, what's their contact number as well, right? Very good point. What else? Any other questions on that? Okay, so leaving with a great impression, all right, is important. Where this could be a lot of different things. Okay, there's going to be a couple things that we add. So I'm not going to include window problems and stuff in this because that's going to go into another part as another driver of cancellation. Okay, because that's where need is important. So leaving with a great last impression, we're going to specifically talk about what they think is going to happen when we come to visit and how we are portraying that to them. Okay. So here's an example. Okay. Never tell them we are going to call to confirm. Now you might say, well, why? It gives them a place to cancel it. Okay. So you just told that customer this is a callback at that point, okay? Because ultimately everything is a callback until it's confirmed, right? So because we're not sending a sales rep out there until it's confirmed. So you just told them this is a callback. You can decide whether or not you want to answer, and we won't come see you if you don't answer. Okay. So you don't want to tell them. Now I know the call center was doing that. Hey, we're going to give you a call back to confirm this appointment. They should have stopped that now. If they did not stop that now, then let me know. That's a habit that should be broken or should be being broken right now. Okay. So you don't gotta all get on here. I'll tell you what if that has not stopped yet, then put it in the chat box that you have on here. Okay. Cause I don't want to just go throwing them under the bus, but if it hasn't stopped yet, where they're saying, hey, we're going to call you back to confirm. All right, then put that in the chat box. Let me know how often as well. Okay. All right, so don't let them know that we're gonna call to confirm. Okay. The second part of that, okay, is leaving them with a great impression of what we're going to do. Okay, so letting them know, making sure they understand that there's no obligation or cost, and that you have, and that they have a call to action. Okay, this is something that we failed at significantly in in-office training, significantly, and in scripting, and it's something that we failed at in out-of-office training too. And I know that because of one-on-ones recently. What I mean by this, guys, is that your last impression should be good. We're going to go over last impression in a minute when we go over a different form of driver of cancellation. So we're going to go over that. But an important failure here is the appointment reminders. Okay, I'm going to go grab them real quick. I'm going to show you guys what to do with them. The door's not working for me, so that's fine. All right, so what the appointment reminder is, guys, it's a little card, all right, that we have, and you should all have them. If you don't, then you got to get on your managers about it. We got to do this. And it has all the color options on the side of it. And then it says an appointment date and time right there, okay, for you. And you could even sign your name to it and stuff like that, okay? That's an important call to action. What every employee should be doing, every employee, is when you set an appointment, you should leave them with an appointment reminder and a door hanger, okay? The door hanger goes through current promotions. The appointment reminder is meant for them to check their window. So there's color options there. You want to say to that customer, hey, if you want to save some time, and it's kind of a cool experience, these are our different color options. If you could take Mrs. Jones and just walk around the house and just kind of look at the different color options and how they might match up in your home, that would actually save us a lot of time when we get out here. Okay, so can you please do that before we come to visit? Or if you'd like to, you can do that before we come to visit. All right, that is a call to action, and it makes them go to their second party and have that conversation. So there's no, when it comes to contacting them on confirmation, there's no fear there whatsoever or anything like that. They've talked to their spouse about it. Okay, if that spouse answers the phone, they're likely to give a better answer. But you need to do this. Half the people here don't even know it exists. It's a failure of us. It's a failure of me to add to the script. It's a failure of in-office training not to add that to the in-office training. It's a failure of us not to leverage that on the road, and managers not to make people have those with them. You should have them every single day, at least 3 or 4 or 5 of them with you to leave with customers every single day. But you have to leave them with a couple things, okay? So first thing that they should be getting, we'll call these leave behinds. All right, the first thing they should be getting is that appointment reminder with a call to action, okay? Because that's going to make a difference. Second thing should be a door hanger, okay? Now, I know the taboo part there is, well, it's got a phone number on it and stuff like that. You have the opportunity, and you should still sign your name to this door hanger. Hey, if you need to call in, if you have any questions or anything like that, I'm just going to make sure I put my name right here so you have it. Again, my name is John Smith. Thank you very much for your time. So on and so forth. These are just reminders to them. Hey, this is an appointment that you have. This is important, okay? And then third, obviously, the $500 gift card, which we'll go over in a minute. But the $500 gift card, we should not be telling people, oh yeah, up to 5% and this and that. It's just, here's a $500 gift card. Don't add any prerequisites to it. You're going to put yourself in a more complicated and difficult position. It's not something that you want to do. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions on that stuff so far?
Not really a question, but sometimes like I I sometimes do stuff like here's a $500 gift card, and obviously like the script kind of goes back to it, but it's flavored towards them. But the general concept of, hey, this is my thank you to you, and if I for some reason forgot to touch base on the no money down, I just reiterate that since you set the appointment through me, um, that's no money down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year just for having this appointment through us.
Okay, I'm glad that's what you do. What is your cancellation right now? Do you know? I don't know.
Uh, we looked over it yesterday. It was like 58%.
Okay, so you should start to adapt some of the things that you do now to some of the things that we're going over is what I would suggest because yeah, it's 62% right now, okay? So this is something that you want to work on because you'd be in that quarter of people that's around that 30 to 40 appointments where like a 50% can be acceptable, but anything above that and you're losing yourself more money, right?
Yeah.
So I would adapt some of the things that you're doing right now that you're suggesting, adapt them slightly to what we're talking about, and then it might be helpful there as well, right? So it's not, I'm not saying don't do them. A lot of them are very similar, but just adapt them slightly to what we're talking about. Make sense?
Yeah. I just figured I'd throw it out there.
Cool, excellent, thank you. All right, so contact is the first thing, okay? The second part of this is going to be, and I guess, yeah, the great impression stuff. I'm going to expand on in a second on that stuff too, because there's some new stuff that we have going on that I think will be interesting for that. Okay, but this is the part where need is important. Okay, need to me, we talked about this, the other day. I mentioned this all the time. I don't think window problems are important to scheduling the appointment as a lot of people do. And I know a lot of managers don't like it when I say that or whatever. They feel some type of way about that, and I get it, but I don't think need is what sets an appointment. Okay. The customer knows they generally need windows. The windows are older or whatever, right? There is occasion where we tell the customer, hey, look at this. And they go, oh, whoa, I never noticed that. But most of the time, the customers noticed whatever we're going to tell them. They have some idea about it. Okay. Most of the time, right? The majority of the time. Not all the time, but the majority of the time. That being said, there's occasion where that's not the case. Um, and so we want to make sure that we're going over need, of course. And here's the thing: before we leave that house, it's important that the customer knows why we're coming out there, why it's important for them to take a look at windows. Okay, it's important before we leave that house. Second. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Doug just said about killing conversations. Yeah, this is what we always talk about. Whenever I talk about getting through the value of the visit, 85% of the time, I see it all the time. I role play with people all the time, and they're in the window problem conversation, and I'm like, all right, like this has to move forward. Like, and I'm as a customer. Here's the thing: when you're role playing, and the proper way to role play, when you're role playing, and it sounds weird, but when you're role playing with somebody, you want to embody that customer completely. Meaning, if you are getting aggravated listening to that person, then you have to imagine, wow, what does a customer feel in a situation like this? This has to drive customers insane. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that, reason that, if that makes sense. Um, and so this is a really important part to this need. Okay. I've been in role playing situations where somebody's gone through the window problems, and I say, yeah, I'm not interested, and then they keep at the window problems, and I go, yeah, no, I'm not. My windows are fine, thank you. And then they keep at the window problems, and I'm like, all right, dude, like, come on, like, I'm done. That's it. You will make customers angry with need if you keep at it when they're indicating that they're not interested in need. They know their windows are shit, or they know their windows aren't great, or whatever. Okay. They don't need to get that driven home by you. That being said, from a customer service perspective, okay, when it comes to cancellation, I'm not saying need's not important at all. When it comes to cancellation, okay, need becomes more important in the information gathering part. Of the script, okay? In the information gathering portion of the script, okay? Now, I hope you all understand what that means, okay? What I mean by that is that need becomes important in that second part when we're going through and we're able to show the customer kind of what we see with their windows. That's when need becomes most important. Okay. Now, some people don't show the customer. I understand not showing the customer the iPad. You want to show the customer the iPad. It doesn't matter. Showing the customer the window problems is what's important. Okay. All right. We're going to take a brief, just 2-minute intermission real quick. I just going to go close this door quick. So 2-minute intermission. All right. And then we'll jump right back in right in this part. Okay. So just 2 minutes, guys. And we'll jump right back in. All right, guys. We are good to start now. All right, so this needs section again is important more for the quality of the appointment than it is for the setting of the appointment. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is this. I mean, we all know this, right? Unless you're brand new here, but you have the iPad. All right, you go through you're going through the needs section in the beginning. I get that, like normal and whatnot. But you're also going through the needs section when it comes to scheduling the appointment. Okay. So what you're doing is you're going, you're going through the name, the phone number, the address, all that stuff. And then you're getting into the window type, the need. Now, at this point, okay, the customer might not be any more interested than they were, but at this point, the customer has more understanding for what we're doing than they did. Okay. So that's the important point of that, is that the customer knows what we're doing now. They have a better understanding of what we're doing now. Okay. So they're more willing to talk about it. So some people take the method of going up and showing the customer the iPad and working with the customer that way. You can do that. I don't care. I mean, the benefit of it is that it creates, again, this symbiotic feel that I'm showing the customer what I'm seeing, that kind of thing. It's not a bad thing, that's for sure. Okay. It's not something I don't think that I think the benefit of it is that it shows the customer that you're working with them. So you're getting up next to them. You're speaking with them. You're not opposed to them anymore. You're not across from them. You're getting right up next to them. Okay. And I think that can be a very important point to what we're doing. Definitely. All right. That being said, I think the other way to do it, the other way to deal with the customer in that way is to show them the actual windows on their house. So to walk up to their house, say, Mr. Jones, before I go, I just want to make sure that I explain to you why we're coming out again. Let me point out here, and then if it's right in front of you, if the problems are right there, then point out directly to the customer what the problems are. Don't hold back from it. Walk right up to that window and show them. You're at the point now in your relationship here with the customer where it's got to be pretty decent. If you've done a decent job of building that relationship, then you're all right, right? And so you want to leverage that by communicating with the customer in a positive way. Okay. So show them what kind of problems they're having with their windows. All right. That's going to resonate more with them. The biggest thing that you have to ask yourself is, when the customer goes to either keep this appointment or cancel this appointment, what do they remember? What do they remember about what I did? Okay. And if you walk up to that customer's window with them and you show them the problems that they're having and so on and so forth, they're going to remember that. That's going to be memorable for that customer. Okay. So that's the reason why it's important. So the information gathering important portion of that script is very important. Work with the customer there. Okay. Next, when it comes to need, make sure the customer has an understanding of their need, that they get it. Okay. Don't overcomplicate it for the customer, guys. You don't have to. I've heard some people say the most ridiculous stuff where they talk about, condensation, and they bring the customer through like a first grade lesson on evaporation. You know that old song, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, that whole thing. You know what I'm talking about? That they used to do in school. It's like that. It's just kind of ridiculous. The customer's not going to listen to that and gain anything from that. But all right, I'll ask you this question. You're not going to answer it, but I need you to ask yourself, when's the last time you went up to a customer's house and said, hey, look at this. This is what's called a weep hole. All right. Now, even if you don't use that to schedule appointments, okay, I'll go over what that is in a second if you don't know. But even if you don't use that to schedule appointments, you should not be leaving that customer's house without showing them, that person, hey, this is what your window is made out of. Okay. Your window's cheap. Your window's plastic. Okay. You should not, and of course you don't want to say it like that, but you want to, that customer has to understand what's wrong with their windows. The weep holes are the drainage system for vinyl windows, if you didn't know that. And it's one of the biggest problems with vinyl is how they're made. That's one of the biggest issues with vinyl windows. And so pointing something like that out, no one has ever pointed that out to them. You will have more people, even though they might not consider it a significant issue, but it can cause leakage into the window material, into the interior of the home. Even though that some of them don't consider it a big issue, they've never been told it before. You're going to see the look on their face when you show them that. And it's showing that person, hey, I'm the window expert. I'm here for a reason. I'm going to show you what you should do with your windows. And so that need is important. It's what they remember whenever you leave and their wife or husband comes home and they're deciding whether or not this is an appointment that they want to do, something that they want to get. This is what they're going to remember. This is what the customer is going to remember. Okay. So keep that in mind. That's why this is so important. That's why doing this with the customer is so important. Does that make sense? Any questions on need? Okay. Lastly, I guess we're going to call this part, even though it's very similar to contact, we will call this, or to the last part of contact anyways, the customer experience. There's plenty of companies that go door to door still, okay? Not a lot of home improvement companies do it. Some do, okay? But what about magazine salesmen? You know, the number one when somebody goes in like magazine sales, for example, there was this stat I saw one time. It was like 80% of magazine. I'm not kidding. Like in this, and don't quote me on the number because I want to get sued here for bad numbers, or whatever. But you can find this study somewhere. It was something like 80% of magazine salesmen had a methamphetamine addiction. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Okay, something absolutely absurd. What's up, Lisa? How you doing? Oh, okay. This is on YouTube right now, guys.
This seems like a good candidate.
She realized I have a microphone. It picks up everything she says. Jesus Christ. Comes in here to have a complete discussion with Brady while we're on YouTube. And I say, we're on YouTube. And she goes, oh, okay. Good. She shushes me. Like, okay, this is ridiculous. So when the customer, when you leave, that customer is going to be left with something, and it's an experience, right? That customer is going to be left with an experience when you leave. And so you want that customer's experience to be positive. You want them to have a good mindset when it comes to how they, what they think about you and what they think about you at their home. It's a good first impression. So you got to think, I guess the quote that I would put down here is, you are both their first and last impression that day. Okay. All right. Meaning that their next contact with the company is going to be a confirmation call, most likely. All right. And so you have to make sure that you are driving that experience for the customer. Now, how do you do that? Okay. Number one, I'd say, personal connections create loyalty to you past the company. Now, what I mean by that is that when I say personal connections, it doesn't have to be super deep. You might go, well, I'm not really good at making personal connections. That's tough. That's going to make it difficult for me. No. Some of the driest people I know have the lowest cancellation rates I know. Oh, yeah, no problem. But you can't open it? Yeah, that's stupid. You should have access to it. Hold on 1 second. Well, so your personal connections, by that, what I mean is the customer, you want them to think, okay, this guy's a good guy. Okay. This girl's a good guy, a good girl, right? You want them to think that employee cared about me. Now, you don't got to make extreme personal connections to do this, guys. When I say personal connections, I literally mean your home is beautiful here. This has been an amazing experience speaking with you. Okay. Niceties. All right. Personal connections, if you go too far, that person, you literally will get customer friend zone. Oh, he'd be fine. If we cancel, he'd be fine. He'd understand. He's my buddy. He'd understand, right? So you want to draw a line here. You don't want to be with any customer for an hour or two. Okay. But just a little bit of extra conversation. Just thank them for the experience. You've been so kind to me today. As you can imagine, out here, we run into all different, attitudes, and everybody has a different thing. And so I just appreciate you being so kind to me today. It's been an experience at your home here. You have such a beautiful home. Thank you so much for allowing me to visit it. Okay. Things like that, guys, just statements like that can mean a lot to a customer. That guy said to me today, I held the door for him. I held the door a second time for him. He said, "You have a super day," or "I hope you have a super day," something like that. And that I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to remember that guy. He had this big Phillies shirt on. He was an older gentleman. I'm never gonna forget that guy because of that. He created a good customer experience for me, for Sheetz. He didn't work this, not really, but you get the point. All right. Last impression, and I'd say what are in our company's impression. Now, what I mean by this, just kind of bear with me as I explain this. You should not be going over massive amounts of information about the company with the customer, but you want them to know what company they're working with. So key points like, because Anderson's been around for 120 years, Mr. Jones, because Anderson is a extremely or here's a good example. Hey, Mr. Jones, before I go, I just want to let you know about something that I found kind of cool. I saw that you had this on a Navy sticker here or something like that. Our company, I just want to let you know, we really appreciate your service. If you want to look into it, we're actually doing a tiny home project right now. We're building all we're putting all these windows. There's 91 windows into tiny homes for Veterans Outreach. It's a really great program. You should definitely check it out online. Right. Mrs. Jones, just before you go, I want you to know that you talking to me today, this goes a long way for our company. This actually provides us with a lot of opportunity to be able to reach back out to the community. During COVID, we were able to give out 1.4 million pounds of food, or we were able to collect 1.4 million pounds of food because of people like you. So thank you so much. Just driving that company impression, okay, in the last impression can be important. Just finding one piece, just one, to tell the customer, okay? When you're giving the customer their stuff, be thankful in everything that you give them, okay? So whether it's the appointment reminder with the call to action like we talked about, or it's the promotional card, or you're going through the promotions, I'm actually going to have something kind of neat for you guys made up. There's different promotions that we have that I didn't know about that are available on a month-to-month basis, whether it's from corporate or it's from us. So one thing, for example, that we never knew about, as a matter of fact, I was always told we could not do was a military discount, right? But we have a military discount. It's a $300 discount towards a job. It might not sound like a lot, but it does couple great with your $500 gift card. If it's clear that they are a veteran, then, Mr. Jones, I want you to know that we appreciate your service. That being said, I have this $500 gift card for you because you've been so kind to me today. In addition to that, I do want to let you know to make sure that you to ask about our $300 veterans discount, or our $300 military discount that we offer. Okay, so you're coupling them up together. It's $800 off at that point there. Okay, so it's significant to that customer. Keep in mind, if that customer bought a window or two, that's like 20% off. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty significant. So there's a lot of different opportunities like that to be able to sneak stuff like that in, guys. That customer experience is important. Okay. So, and everything that you give the customer, all right, there should be just kind of some sort of, thank you there. And that's before you walk away from the door. You should never you shouldn't walk away from the door snickering or being a dick, or you shouldn't walk away from the door, even if the customer's upset with you, angry, whatever, even if they seemed a little bit turned off by the experience, whatever, just because they didn't want it. Every customer should get the same positive treatment no matter what. And you're going to see your cancellation rate dive down. And by the way, too, I'll give you a good example. We have a guy here, Tony. If you would have asked me 2 months ago, I was getting at least one negative call every week about him. And it was just based on attitude. He turned that around, and now I get positive calls every week about him. Number one. Number two, his cancellation rate's gone down significantly, and his appointments have gone up tremendously by like 5 times what they were. attitude and how the customer reads your face is extremely important. Okay. So body language and voice tone. You know, I'm just going to add this in here as well. And body odor. Okay. I'm not even kidding with you. Okay. It's, you want to be clean. Give the customer a good experience total. All right. I'm going to delete body odor, but you get my point. It is important. Okay. All right. So this stuff is extremely important to the cancellation process with the customer. Their spouse is going to come home and their spouse is going to go, wait, why are we looking at windows? Whoa. I don't want to do that right now. That's what their spouse is going to come home and do. So what are you going to leave them? What are you going to arm them with to speak with their spouse? Okay. Is it going to be, oh yeah, that guy was kind of a dick anyways. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Sure. We'll just cancel it. You know, is it, oh, well, the guy told me that I could just call to cancel. Well, the guy told me they won't show up if we don't answer the confirmation call. Right. I mean, or is it going to be, no, hun, I appreciate that, but I mean, this guy was such a nice guy. Let's just give them a chance. It's just a free service. We don't have to buy anything, so on and so forth. What is the impression going to be that they're given? Okay, and how does that impact the setting of the appointment? That makes sense. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments on that? Anything at all that you guys want to ask when it comes to cancellation rate? Okay. On how we fix that. I'm going to go through one more part of this. All right. But solving the drivers of cancellation is what's gonna save you when it comes to cancellation rate. Okay. All right. Next thing is care about your numbers. Know them. Okay. So a lot of people don't even know what their cancellation rate is. At the end of the week, they just go, "Oh, looks like I didn't make commission. I thought I had enough appointments. Looks like I didn't make commission." Or they ask their manager, "Hey, why didn't I get paid on those appointments?" And they have no idea what went on at all with their appointments. Okay. You have total control over this. All right. So I'm going to unlock something for you right now. And if you don't do this, this is on you. This should solve everyone's cancellation rate. This should solve everyone's cancellation rate. So number one, okay, get a notebook or a section on your phone or iPad and write down each lead and callback for that matter for the day. All right, segment them out. So, I might have an Excel sheet, for example, on my computer. Now, you just got to do this religiously, but at the end of the day, I have one form for my leads and one form for my callbacks. Okay. And what I'm going to do is it will take me 15 minutes to just put down, I'm going to put down the name on the lead. Yeah, I can stop using caps. I'm going to put down the name on the lead. I'm going to put down the phone number on the lead. I'm going to put down the city or the address. I'm going to put down the date to run or the date to call. Okay. Now that date to call might be open-ended, right? I might not have given the customer a date and time specifically. Okay. So that date might be open-ended to call. That's fine. I'm just going to put open-ended in a couple days, right? All right. And then I should probably put the date that I set it on as well. So maybe I start with the date that I set it on. Okay. This is not much work at all, guys, at all. All right. But now what I can do is each day I can go in and I can check my leads for the week and what happened. All right. And then if they cancel, then I can highlight them in red. If it's Zoom, if it's Excel, or I can highlight them with a highlighter in red or in yellow if they cancel. Okay. If they go through, I can highlight them in green. All right. But I should keep track of every single appointment so I know what to do. Okay. If a cancellation happens, all right. I'm going to go in and read the notes immediately. Okay. So unless I'm on the road, you shouldn't be checking your numbers when you're on the road. That should be clear. You should not be checking your numbers when you're on the road. That's not what we're paying you to do. Schedule leads on the road, check your numbers after shift. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to read the notes immediately after they're supposed to run. So I get done work for the day. I'm going to go in and read that. Okay. And then I'm going to compile common issues to bring to my manager or myself. Yeah, I could go for another energy drink if you don't mind. Thank you. Like a C4. Thank you very much. No, not really. The mango is good, but it doesn't really matter. Thank you. Compile common issues. As a matter of fact, Brady, just grab me a bottle of water, please. It's fine. Yeah, instead. Yeah, probably better for me. So compile common issues to bring to my manager. I already have 2 energy drinks here. To bring to my manager or myself, okay, so that we can go over those issues together. All right. And then the biggest thing is follow up and call those customers back to try to get them on schedule. Okay. Now you might go, well, the call center is doing that. Okay, but they're doing that for everyone's leads. Don't you want somebody to spend the time on your leads, the special time on your leads? Don't you want to have control over that? They might say, yeah, well, what do I say to that customer? You call them back and you ask them what happened. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I know we're supposed to come see you tomorrow at 2:00. I saw that you canceled in there. I just wanted to give a call back just to see if there's anything that we could do to help you as a company. I value your time. I noticed that you didn't get confirmed. You probably got busy. I just want to call you back and see if we can get you back on schedule. Okay. Try to get them back on the schedule. At the very least, what's going to happen is you're going to have information that will allow you to get better when it comes to cancellation rate. At best, like they experienced the other day, Daquan did this. He rescheduled like 1 out of like 4 people that I had him call. Okay. That's a big deal. The lady just forgot about the appointment. She just forgot about the appointment. She hadn't been home. She's kind of an odd lady. Didn't answer the phone very much. Well, he scheduled her on there and he got it in the confirmation window. Now it's confirmed and it's good to go. So follow up and call those people back, guys, because why not? Why not? It's going to benefit you. You're going to get the direct result from it. And here's the deal, guys. If you're forced to do more to prevent your cancellation rate, I guarantee you'll see a drop in your cancellation because you're gonna automatically start to focus on that. Okay. So heavy customer service, call the person back and just kind of make a connection with them again that way. All right. Any questions on that?
Yeah, if you're calling them to reschedule, how would you go about getting them back on the schedule? Like, because you have to call a scheduler in person, but how would you do that?
Yes. So you must not have done callbacks yet, then I'm guessing.
No.
Okay, so you'll learn more about this over the next couple weeks, okay? But we do things called callbacks. So basically, we call the customer back. We can set the appointment, okay? We just give it to the call center, and then they'll call it back to confirm at that point when it's close to the appointment date. But you can schedule that, and we'll go through that in training. All right. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay. All right, cool. Well, I know we're running a little bit behind, guys. So I'm going to focus next on demo rate. All right. But let's just take like another 2-minute break. By the way, too, this is being taped. So if you let's say cancellation was your thing, and now demo rate, you're like, well, I'd like to know about it, but I don't care as much. I'm gonna make demo rate go by a little bit quicker. All right. We'll take a 5-minute break. But this recording will be put back out on the GroupMe after it's done as well. Just FYI. Okay. But demo rate is what we're going to go over next. And this will only take, I'm going to go through key points on it. Okay. I'll do a separate video on demo rate. This will basically become the cancellation rate video, this first part of it anyways. All right. I'll make separate videos later, later on today or whatever about demo rate and setting the appointment, but I'm going to go through that today too. But more in more detail. Okay. So let's just take a quick 5-minute break. And then we'll get started on demo rate right after that. Okay. Thank you. All right, guys, sorry about that. For those of you guys that are still with me, thank you very much. We will, like I said, I'm gonna go through this section a lot quicker. I will say that demo rates is a very important part of what we do. Again, when it comes, what is a demo rate? A demo rate is defined by, I guess it would be, the rate to which a issued lead becomes a demo or sale. Okay. So what affects demo rates negatively? Not homes and no demos affect this metric negatively. Okay. So that's what affects this negatively. All right. Not homes and no demos. Now, these things can't 100% be prevented. There's just no way for that to happen. They can't 100% be prevented, but there's definitely things that we can do to make them better, and to make it easier for our sales representatives. Going into the rest of the year, it's extremely important because our sales close rate is important to our overall goal. You don't want to set appointments, put sales reps in a bad position, and not get paid on stuff anyways. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, now a lot of what affects cancellation rate affects demo rate. So when it comes to especially not homes, the biggest thing that you can do is do the stuff that we talked about with cancellation rate. Okay. So leaving a customer with a good impression, for example, is extremely important to demo rate because not homes are part of demo rate. Okay. No demos, they're impacted by a couple different things I'm going to go through right now. All right. So the first thing I'm going to talk about with this is I want to talk about the do's and don'ts, things that we do. So when it comes to no demos, there are things that we just don't do that impact this metric negatively. Okay. Meaning trailer or mobile home, for example, that's scheduled by one of our employees. That's never going to demo. That's never going to be a demoable situation unless it's one of those few trailers or mobile homes that we could do. But I'm going to go through some of these you might not even know. Okay. All right. So do's and don'ts. Okay. So this is really a list of don'ts, I guess. But the first don't. Okay. The first don't would be trailers or mobile homes. Now, you might have heard that we can do certain trailers or mobile homes. And we can, but they're very specific. The wall construction has to be like 4x6 or whatever. It's extremely specific. The walls need to be a certain thickness in order for us to be able to install windows into trailers or mobile homes. So you never should be put in a trailer or mobile home park because the likelihood of us experiencing success there, I mean, we might not be able to do them. Most of the time, we won't be able to do them. B, that's not really a good situation for sales. And so that's not our job to create just positive situations for sales. Part of that is their responsibility, but we also don't want to set them up for failure by putting them into a $15,000, per home mobile home community in the middle of Mechanicsburg, right? So trailers and mobile homes should only ever be set up when they're not in a trailer or mobile home neighborhood. Meaning if they're on a main road or something like that, and you happen to miss something, then that's when it would be acceptable to set up a trailer or mobile home. Okay. That as long as it has a proper construction. So the couple indicators here, okay, the couple indicators that you can just cross them off completely if it doesn't have this, a foundation. If it doesn't have a foundation, never set it up. If it has a skirt on it, okay, where it has like the metal skirt or whatever, the aluminum skirt, that's not, don't set that up for an appointment. Okay. Straight up, don't set that up for an appointment. If it has I'm just going to call them not regular windows, not regular windows, not normal windows. Okay. So for example, jalousie windows, the ones that are like a bunch of slits, and then you turn something and they all come up like that. That would be an example. Okay. If they have windows like that, just do not go. Okay. If it looks like it drives, if it looks like it can start driving, absolutely not. Just do it. We're not doing it. Stay away from it completely. Okay. So largely stay away from trailers or mobile homes completely. On the occasion, we can sometimes kind of do them, but most of them we're not going to be able to do. So it's probably not even worth your time and even trying to schedule them. Okay. For sale houses. Okay, I know this one confuses people a bit. Okay. Now, let's say I go to a customer's house and they say, yeah, I'm going to put my house up for sale. The first question I'm asking is where you're moving. Okay. If they can't say to me, oh, I'm moving to Florida. Oh, I'm moving to, this town or whatever. Right. Okay. If they can't, then they probably aren't moving now immediately. Okay. So most customers, when they say they're putting their home up for sale, they haven't even fully done it yet. But what if they put it up for sale? Or what if they say to you, hey, I'm talking to a realtor. Yeah, we just found a house we're going to put up for sale next week. Never schedule that. Okay. Now, the reason why you'll never schedule that is because what would they have to do to get our windows done? You might go, oh, yeah, well, it can increase your own value. Not by enough to make it worth it. Definitely not. They would have to take their house off the market, wait 6 to 12 or 8 to 12 weeks for installation, pay all the money for the windows, pay them off before they sell the house, pay all the money for the windows, and hope to get their home value back. Hope to get the value back from it, which would never happen. Not like that. Not immediately. Not 100%. Not 80% or whatever is said down too. Not like that. Okay, so it just doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. That being said, if it has a for sale sign, go to it. If it has a for sale sign, don't go to it. Rather, don't go to it. Okay. If it says sold, go to, because the person could have moved in. It's worth checking it out. Okay. But if it has a for sale sign, then do not go to that house. Don't do that house. All right. What else don't we do? Okay. Unheated rooms. I'm going to be more specific than that. Garages without other windows or doors. Now, why? The reason why is because if you're only going out there for the garage, okay, think about it logically for a second. If we're only coming out for the garage, that means every other window in the house has been done. Now, if the Renewal by Andersen house, if they've done it with Renewal by Andersen, that's fine because they know the cost. But why would that person realistically spend, let's say, $200 per window on their house windows and then $2,000 a window on their garage windows? It makes no sense whatsoever. The reason why they did not do their garage is probably because they didn't want expensive windows in their eyes in their garage. They didn't want the expense. Okay. So we wouldn't set up a garage, just a garage on its own. Okay. Same thing with garage doors. Same thing with entry doors going into garages. That's not an entry door, guys. An entry door is front of the home entry door. Okay. A back patio door is back of the home patio door. Okay. So this is the same with an attic or anything like that. Okay. Any like a sunroom, same thing. If you walk up and there's every window's been done, okay, recently, except for this, sunroom or porch area, okay, that's the only 4 windows left to do. And the customer goes, well, yeah, I still got this 4 left. Your first question should be, why didn't you replace those 4? If the person goes, oh, I just moved in, I don't know, the new homeowner, the previous owner didn't do it. Okay, then fine. But most likely, guys, it's not going to be a set. Okay. Most likely it's not going to be a set. And you just got to be comfortable with that. Okay. Basement windows that do not have a wood frame. Okay. So the metal windows that are stuck in the concrete, we don't do those. You'd have to cut around the concrete to do them properly. And we don't have the equipment for that. We just don't do that. Okay. Not something that we do. All right. Skylights. We don't do skylights. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that I've seen come up recently. Obviously, sheds and stuff like that, we're not gonna do, guys, obviously, okay? If it's a heated garage or like some sort of heated shed, like workshop, that's fine, we can definitely do that, okay? But largely, these are things that we do not do. So if you avoid these things, that's gonna be your first step to not having a no demo problem. Avoid those things, okay? Next, be clear on what we are doing. Okay. Now, the reason why this is important and what I mean by this, okay, when I say be clear on what we're going to do while we're out there, there's two reasons for this. Number one, you want the customer to not want to cancel the appointment. Okay. So their spouse comes home. What's going to make them not want to cancel the appointment is having a good understanding that we're just there to leave them with a quote. When it comes to not homes and stuff like that, be clear on what we're doing and why we're doing that as well. Okay. And I'm going to go through some extra steps on this here soon, but be clear on what we're doing. So before, a way to do this, if you have a demo rate problem, what should your demo rate be? Doesn't matter how many leads you have, your demo rate should never be below an 88%. Never, never, ever, ever. Should never be below an 88%. Okay, your demo rate. So be clear on what we're doing out there before you get it on the phone, before you get the office on the phone. Recap what we are doing. Now, this can help you actually set more appointments as well. This can help you significantly when it comes to setting more appointments because the customer might be ready to cancel at the door with you. Okay. Recap before you get on the phone. So, hey, Mr. Jones, I'm going to get the office on the phone. Before I do that, I just want to remind you when we come out, we're going to go over the different styles and options here. Okay. We're going to take measurement of your windows. We're going to show you the problems that you might be experiencing. And then we're going to leave you with a free price quote that's good for an entire year. So you can give us a call back whenever you're ready down the line. Okay. And then go, okay, I'm going to get the office on the phone. It will just take a second or go right into, now we do have people in your neighborhood today. I can ask somebody to stop by at like 6 o'clock. Would that be okay? And then, okay, I'll get the office on the phone. It will just take a second. Just like we went over earlier, guys, but this is just recap what you're doing before you get on the phone. That can save you a lot when it comes to demo rate, and honestly, cancellation rate to an extent as well. Make sure they understand what they're getting and why it's important to them. Okay. Next, be clear on what is important to you. Okay, what I mean by that is you have built up some sort of rapport with this person. It is perfectly acceptable for you in the last impression to say to that customer, hey, Mr. Jones, I really appreciate the time that you've given me today. Our company is obviously extremely busy, and it's very important to me personally that if anything comes up, that you let us know right away. So please make sure that you do. If not, then we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And again, I really appreciate the time that you've given me. Okay, that's sort of your plea to them to say, be here, have a commitment to me. Okay, so create a commitment with that customer. Gratitude is important here. Okay, so gratitude is important. And you're asking them to be consistent. That's all. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, the call center does reiterate that with the customer. Good. Excellent. They reiterate the okay, cool. When we come out to leave them with a free quote. Good. And that's why it's important to get the call center on the phone too. That's why cell sets die so much because of that. Because the call center does play a part in this as well. So create a commitment with that customer. Okay, gratitude is important. I want to thank you so much for the time that you've given me, Mr. Jones. And I just, one ask before I go. I know that you're busy. I know things can come up, but we're setting this time aside specifically for you, and it's very important to me personally that we're able to come out here and see you. So please, if anything does come up, just make sure that you let us know. Okay, and so you're sort of begging them to cancel here in a way, right? But you're doing it in a way that's not going to drive cancellation rate. Trust me, it's going to drive no demo rate down and not home rate down significantly. Okay. This is where, again, the 90 minutes and spouse needs to be clear. There can't be any question as to what we need and why we need it. Okay. So they have to understand completely, why do we need 90 minutes? Why do both people need to be there? Okay. It's very important that they understand that. Okay. Now, last thing, okay, because like I said, I'm going to make this go quick. Just like with cancellations, okay, same thing. All right. You have all your leads written down, all of them. Okay. Keep track of no demos and not homes. Check them daily. Okay, check the no demos and not homes every day. All right. Call back dead not homes and even some no demos. Okay. If you know, for example, hey, I set that guy up for an entry door and they said that it canceled because the guy's windows were brand new. Something must have happened between the sales rep and the customer, some sort of interaction that drove that response. Call the customer back. If the call center can't get a hold of it, call it back. Okay. Not homes, definitely call back. And again, it's a simple call. You just call and say, hey, Mr. Jones, I spoke with you the other day. I saw that we weren't able to see you. We weren't able to reach you whenever we came out to visit. I'd like to reset you for a better time that you'll be available. Okay. And just move with that train of thought. And that's actually how Daquan set up that one the other day. It was actually a not home that he had scheduled there. Okay. All right. So these things are important, guys. Look for feedback. Look for notes. Dive into the notes. Okay. And if you see anything, if you have any questions on leads, then please speak up and ask. If there's a real problem, okay, please speak up and ask. I'm going to give you an example. Something that wasn't very clear. Okay. We had one the other day where it was not homed. Okay. The sales rep didn't result it the proper way. He got to the house and it was porched. The customer came out and said, I don't want you here. Now he deemed it important. I don't know why, it's kind of a dumb decision, but to leave them with a bullshit quote. So he said, well, this will roughly be 30 grand. That's a demo. That's a demo. You just left them with a price. Even if you didn't demo it, you chose to do that. That kills the appointment. Okay. This is where digging into these not homes and no demos is very important. We saw on the notes that the person said, yeah, I ran into Mr. Jones. He told me he didn't want the appointment. Well, that's not a not home. That made me look into it deeper. And then we ended up figuring out some information that we didn't know. Okay. So any questions on that? Okay, so in the interest of time, guys, I'm going to change the title of this one a little bit, and this is going to be no demos, and this is going to be callbacks, okay, because it's after 12 o'clock right now. It's 12:15, all right, and I appreciate you guys working with me here, but I know it's a lot of information, okay? It's a lot of information, so go back and review this, all right? Go back and review this for sure. I'm going to make a shorter version with just bullet points, boom, 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 on cancellation and on demo rate, okay? That should help you. All right, that should help you take care of these two issues. The biggest thing is you don't want to be losing what you already have on the board, okay? You don't want to be losing what you already have on the board. So here's what we're going to do. I'm doing continued training with the trainees that started this week. We're going to go through lead setting. We're going to go through some window problem stuff as well. So I'm going to offer you guys, if you're on Zoom now, we're going to start in probably 15 minutes. Just take a quick break. When I'm talking this much, it's very taxing. So 15 minutes, we'll take a quick break. All right. Then when we come back, we're going to start on that stuff with the newer people. All right. It's going to be a recorded thing for them. And but I will start with setting leads. I will start with that. I will do follow-up training as well. March, guys, is the biggest month that we have. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording now and I'm just going to talk to you guys about this. But March is the biggest month that we have. Let me see.